Hello and welcome back. It's time to look at turn number 20. See what we got. So we revived a Bane and we got some Warp Fire Throwers. I believe that's up near the throne that we're going to take. And our mages did a lot of searching but didn't find any magic sites. Our first blood hunt has taken place. That's in Verdant Steppe, which is again next to the throne. We got 4 blood slaves. We had a battle in Midland, which is our probe of the throne. So let's have a look at what the defences are. So we've got the expected large number of heavy cavalry, and they've been around long enough that they've got experience stars. Got a bunch of militia, which are really not very relevant at all. Got some heavy infantry, and light cavalry that've got short bows. In terms of mages, the enemy has this wizard, who could have been a problem, but they're feeble-minded, so they have no magic at all, so they're out of the picture. And then they've got 2 mages up here. Neither of these look like they're going to cast anything particularly nasty. I think they can cast summon water elemental, summon earth elemental, you know, the small versions. And then this one's got blood 3. You know, there's quite a few nasty things they can cast in blood 3. I'm not sure what they actually will cast. Don't have a huge number of slaves, but they've got enough that they can cast a few unpleasant things. I think they're just going to spam imps at us, potentially. Not sure. So our strategy with this one really is going to be take these lance charges, use weapons teams to blow this to pieces, and just kind of overwhelm them. If we put some units at the top, we can have them attack rear, and they might get past this infantry and go after the commanders there. Some pause it and see how they move. Yeah, they're just guarding on that flank, so attacking rear might not even really do anything there, unless we use good troops. Yeah, we want our chaff to be kind of down the bottom to intercept this charge. Okay. Then we've got 2 battles we witnessed. One is Cassian Forest, which is looks like a throne being taken by the Greenskins. So huge block of Orc Biggins. Orc Biggins are pretty decent troops. They're kind of you know, medium to heavy infantry. They hit pretty hard. You know, 20 damage choppers. They've got their sacreds over here, the loons, and then they've got really a large number of warlords. This is of bosses, really an exceptional number of them. One of them with the Just Man's Cross, one of them with the Thorn Staff. Yeah, just some random magic items amongst them, but a lot of bosses. And I'm guessing that's just because they're trying to set off the Orcs and Goblins have a mechanic where they gain experience, get promoted, and then they can set off wars, so they just get stronger and stronger infantry, and things turning up as their bosses get more famous and powerful. And then of course they've got giants, which, you know, is absolutely going to mulch this stuff. So this should be no problem for them. I imagine that they'll lose some big uns just chopping their way through all this chaff, but there's not really anything particularly dangerous to them here. There's some, you know, conjurers, death and blood, and there's a more powerful mage up there, but yeah, really not a problem. So let's just fast forward through this. So we'll turbo through it and just see what happens. Yep, just got to fight their way through lots of undead. Giant gets in there, starts squashing stuff. Oh, a couple of agonies went off. So let's see what they lost. Yeah, 5 loons. Loons are pretty cheap, 18 gold each. And that's without the turmoil discount. So if you've got the full 3 turmoil, they're only 12 gold each, so very cheap sacreds. And then a bunch of big uns. Well, they lost one of their bosses, but presumably some of those are going to get enough experience to get promoted if they keep charging in and killing stuff. And then we've got a battle. This is the battle for the capital. Bretonnians trying to retake their caps. They're moving all their remaining forces in to fight the Ogres. Let's watch. So this is obviously going to be a pretty big one. They've got a ton of Ground Knights, so each of those is 2. So yeah, quite a few. They've got quite a few mages, and they've managed to get a couple of their Guardian Spirits. Back here they've got one of their lords has taken the questing vow, so he's a questing lord. He's got extraordinary agility, so he's going to be pretty nasty. The Ogres to take on. And then a decent selection of medium and heavy infantry. And on the opposing side, so we've got the Ogres lined up. They've got one giant, some bulls. They've got several of their slaughter masters who are casting Bull Gorger, Toothcracker. So Toothcracker is like gives things stone skin. Gives a bunch of troops stone skin. Bull Gorger is like strength of giants, gives them a bunch of extra strength. Yeah, so let's see what they managed to pass those on. So the Toothcracker went off here. So the Tyrant now has 24 protection, so very nice. Did it get the Giant? Yes, it did. So the Giant has gone from his normal basic natural protection of 10 up to 15. Yeah, which makes him a lot tougher. So that was a pretty good plan. It hasn't got a very big area of effect, but you can see the Bull Gorger going off there too. If we compare one that hasn't been hit, that's maybe they have. Normally they've got strength 16, and that one has got strength 20. Yep, that's from the Bull Gorger. The Bretonnians are casting a mix of luck. I think there's some moss bodies in there. Yeah, there's some luck. Not moss body, just luck. Okay. And then they're kind of casting slime and webs. So the Grail Knights are just going to come herring in the middle. Although it looks like they split them into two groups, and one is on attack rear, and one is going in the middle. The Ogres have got one of their very expensive cavalry, the Mournfang cavalry. These things are very tough, but obviously one on its own is not going to do terribly well against these Grail Knights. So let's just watch and see what happens. So in the middle, you can see the Death Belcher was kind of like a medium-range shotgun unit they've got there. These infantry are going to do fine against the bulls. The Grail Knights are going to do okay against the pit fighters, just because their attack skill is not quite enough to reliably hit the Grail Knights, so they're going to take quite a bit of killing. They have that excellent defense skill and good protection. They've won up on the flank, which means they're going to go around the back. They're on attack rear. A lot of decay, which is going to be quite effective against the pit fighters, who are otherwise really difficult to deal with. If you look at their age, their max age is only 60, and decay is hitting them for 5 years every turn, so they're going to start falling apart fairly quick. But yeah, protection 20. Their defense skill and attack skill don't really matter, but most importantly, lots of hit points, and they have regeneration. So they have got some serious lasting power, the pit fighters. So in the middle here, the Grail Knights have pretty much been chopped up. They're taking damage as they go along, but they're lasting quite a long time. Brain Gobbler is going off. That's the panic spell, so that's going to be forcing morale checks on them, but it's not going to be great against Bretonnians because they have great morale. The infantry is doing okay, but struggling a little bit. Where the infantry is getting in over here, it's getting pretty badly chopped up. I mean, these guys are amazing at chopping up infantry, and the level of protection they have is not going to be enough. But he's got 24 now. What's that from? Yeah, so he's had protection cast on him, so he's which with his heavy armor makes him a lot better. It's bark skin effectively. Now the problem for the Ogres is that these Grail Knights have all got round the back. So I would say all of this is toast. Yeah, the Slaughter Masters, although they benefit from less that they have, which is decay weapons, regeneration, and blood surge. I mean, regeneration is the really crucial thing there. They're just going to get annihilated by the Grail Knights. They have no chance. They're too tired from casting their spells, and Grail Knights themselves are just really good. Over here we got an interesting matchup. A questing lord. This is very thematic for a questing lord with moss body, charging off to try and lop off the legs, I guess, cut off the knees of the slave giant. He's also fighting the tyrant. So the Bretonnians have played fantastically well on thematic grounds here. They've done a really great job of getting their questing troops in, fighting giant monsters. It's been very entertaining. Some real duels. So the giant's taken some bad hits. He's crippled. Oh, he was already crippled at battle start. Tyrant's doing okay. I don't think he's going to last another round against these three. Oh, he missed. Is he retreating? Questing Lord? Yes, he is now broken. So you can see here, the Grail Knights are still going, but the infantry has been hacked to pieces. Pretty much everything that's not a pit fighter has been taken out. just by the ongoing battle in the middle here. But their regeneration just means they will hang out for a very long time. Even with the decay, now, you know, pushing their age up constantly. Yeah, not great news for them. So the giant got killed. This is very interesting. So they finished slaughtering all their mages at the back, although it looks like one of the bruisers got away. And they're now fighting this tyrant who's turned around to fight the Grail Knights. He's the one that's got protection 24. Very tough. They're going to struggle to take him down, so he's going to hold them up for a while. But Bretonnia are going to have to hope that, well, he's their last commander left. So once they kill him, normally they would rout, but they've got all these berserkers, the pit fighters all berserk, and they have now hacked their way through all the infantry pretty much. There's a couple of phantasmals. There's the guardian spirits getting in there, and the mages are still pecking away with heavenly strikes. Oh, the questing knight, the moss body just broke. Back here, tyrant's nearly gone. He's getting not taking afflictions, but he's nearly dead. Once he's dead, that is it for any non-berserking units on the ogre side. But they finally just overcome everything here. Oh, Bretonnia routed. Their defense dropped as they're routing, and yeah, these Grail Knights are. Maybe they'll get some more kills on the way out, but they are not long for the world. Wow, it really is a testament to how powerful the pit fighters are. Both Grail Knights and pit fighters, just fantastically strong sacred units. And yeah, they've broken through. It looks like several of the mages are dead. And that's the end of that battle. But yeah, you couldn't really ask for a closer battle than that. Even though they've got a lot of pit fighters left, the only reason they're going is because they're berserking. I'm actually not sure why these units, which are not berserked, have not fled, given there are no commanders. I'm not quite sure how that works. Yeah, that's a bit of a gap in my knowledge there. There's no ogre commanders on the field at all. You'd have thought they'd have run and it would only be the berserking ones left. These ones have gone berserk. Maybe it's because they're in the same squad. Maybe there's something going on with that. Quite sure. Then at the very end, this is the decay just taking out numerous of them. So much like their fight with me, Bretonnia managed, you know, through act of will, bravery, and extremely strong Grail Knights with a bless, have managed to inflict terrible casualties, even though overall it's a losing strategic position for them. In my battle, of course, they won and kicked me off the fort, but then soon lost it because they had to retreat. They had to pull back to try and defend their cap. Against the ogres, you know, they haven't lost many of their mages, but they just, you know, they can't afford these losses. 23 Grail Knights down, they had 25 in the battle. They did fantastically. You can see there that the Footnight Errants did okay. This was Noblars mainly, but the Footnights of the Realm, they just can't fight pit fighters. It's just a terrible matchup for them. They don't hit hard enough, they can't get through the regen, and then every turn they're getting sliced up. You know, just an awful matchup. But the Grail Knights did amazingly well. And the Ogres' losses, so the Noblar fighters and Noblar trappers, doesn't really matter to them. Losing a Tyrant, that's kind of painful. 3 Slaughter Masters, very painful. So you see there 345 gold, but they have an extreme Chaos recruitment discount. So yeah, 35. So that is 105 in Turmoil 3 that's taken off. So they're actually 240 each. But yeah, losing 3 of them is very bad. Losing a Butcher as well. And then yeah, let's look at some of the more expensive things they lost. The Death Belch is fairly expensive. Eastern Man-Eaters. The Mournfang Cavalry is very expensive. That's 110 after the turmoil discount. It's 80 gold. Yeah, this is costly stuff. A Slave Giant, 2 Western Man-Eaters, and then of course the Pit Fighters. 19 of those. Now they're 135 gold each. With the Chaos recruitment, it's a 45 gold discount in Turmoil 3, so they come out at 90 gold. 90 gold is 30 more gold than the Grail Knights, and while they certainly performed very well, losing 19 of them is bad for the Ogres. So a real Pyrrhic victory for the Ogres, but they do retain the capital. They'll be storming it soon, and that capital is worth a lot to them. Yeah, when I talked to the Ogres, I kind of agreed that they would get the capital. It was partly so that they would be in a position where they had to fight what Bretonnia had left. I didn't want any more expensive losses. I'm kind of happy with what I've got for now, and I wanted to have good relations with them. So yeah, I agreed that they would have the capital. Then we had a battle at the Fortress of White Peaks. Finally, after all this time, we're taking White Peaks. It's just the wall defenders. They've got absolutely nothing left. So yeah, my troops aren't going to do particularly well. I just sent in a bunch of rubbish because I don't really want good troops hanging around in this disease site infested province. But yeah, the Prophet nips away at them with Word of Stone until they're gone. And then we've got an unexpected event in Mushwood, so another one of these unpleasant events. This one's not that bad, but it's going to cut down the gold I'm getting from that for a bit. So what are we doing? Well, we've now taken White Peaks. They didn't burn the lab down, which is very nice of them. We're building a temple there, so it's going to be fully labbed and templed. And we're going to start recruiting Warlock engineers, pumping them out. Once we've got the temple up, I might switch over to the Plague Priests because I don't want people hanging around here because it's got a disease site in it. So I'm basically going to be moving them out. But since they have to stay there for one turn when they're recruited, I'd rather get ones that have the disease resistance, so they're not likely to end up with a disease. And I'm not really going to get any troops here at the moment because we have a fairly strong army here. And I don't think that anyone's going to be attacking us. Dark Elves don't appear to be on the edge of attacking us. I don't think Ogres are. And then the only other thing is Slaanesh, maybe. I have spotted a big force of Slaanesh, but I think rather than coming up into these provinces and potentially threatening me, I think they're going to try and take that throne there. It's actually more left of Bretonnia than I thought. They must have a force down here that's kind of nipped a couple of these provinces back for them. But maybe they've moved it all up for the big cap fight. The Ogres obviously were looking to decapitate them and then take what's left afterwards. I could go after these provinces, but I think I'm probably going to leave that to the Ogres. I'm going to have a talk with them about the borders that we're establishing. Yeah, but pretty happy with what I've taken. So repositioning my forces. I'm actually moving a lot of my forces down here to find out what's causing this unrest and deal with it by patrolling. I suspect it's a monster boar or something like, or a cult or something like that. We are recruiting some more forces to kind of replace our losses. We're moving to the more resource-intensive Skaven now, the clan rats. We're making sure we've got some gutter runners because their high map move is going to be useful if we need to be sending people off all over the place. And of course, we're just getting more council guard. We're getting Grey Seer, that's one we started recruiting last turn. Because our god is coming back, I could forge something for my god, but I don't think there's anything I particularly want to forge for her now, and I'm still trying to get to Earth 3. I mean, I'm going to have construction level 4 next turn, so I can make Earth Boots, and then it's going to be Dwarven Hammers, and I'm going to go forge crazy, because I've got the Death Gems, the Fire Gems, and the Earth Gems to really forge a lot of stuff. But yeah, I want to do it as efficiently as possible. I got this Bane partly because I was just kind of interested to have one. I don't know if I'm going to summon up any Wraiths to go with him. Not Wraiths, Wights, which is the infantry form of the Bane, basically, the troop form. I might get some. I don't know, I just fancied having one. Up here, we're moving in, and this is our battle formation. So we've got our weapons teams, which are set to fire archers, which is going to go for the light cavalry. Little troops, these are on fire closest to go after the militia, and then we've got fire cavalry here and fire cavalry here. This is the down a bit, warp lightning throwers and some more flamethrower action. We've got quite a lot of center bearers, but then we've also just got at the front here these rats. Their job is to charge forward and crash into the knights and take those lance charges. Might move them even more over that way. And in the kind of center, we've got clan rats and Skaven slaves, which is just going to kind of fight the militia. They can fight them just fine. And I've got a little bit on attack archers, so they're going to go round and kind of tie up some of the light cover and maybe kill them. I'm really relying on this group to do most of the actual hard-hitting fighting, which is a bunch of council guard and slightly higher quality. We've got the storm vermin and slightly higher quality clan rats, so they're set on attack cavalry to mop up whatever's left. But it's the weapons teams that are going to do most of the heavy lifting here. We've got a couple of less Earth Elementals being summoned in to just give me a bit more hit points on the field. And over here we've got Legions of Steel, which is going to go off on this group, I'm hoping. So yeah, Earth Power, Legions of Steel, and then just minor Warp Lightning. I'm a little bit anxious that that's not really enough, but I don't want to hold off for another turn. I want to get on with it. So we'll probably take hideous casualties there, but again, that's, with a Skaven, that's what we're about. Because I'm anticipating that, I'm recruiting some more troops here, and I'm getting my first Molder Mutator. That's to help me start my blood economy going, because they're Blood 1, but they've got Blood Searcher 1, and if I give them a Dowsing Rod, they'll be Blood Searcher 3, which, Blood Searcher 2 rather, which will give them Blood 3 for the purposes of Slave Hunts, which is pretty optimal, really. And we've got a few provinces we could hunt in. I think Feral Woods is going to be my third choice there. Yeah, I've started doing a bit of blood sacrificing at home, which is just to create more temple checks and generally keep our Dominion high. So, yeah, kind of preparing. This is the only thing that's really going after this throne and trying to get my research rolling again. Nice to have 3 forts now, and our income's looking pretty good. Okay, see you next turn. Hello again. It's turn number 21. Winter is upon us once more. Let's go over the turn. So we've got research and construction up to level 4 now, so there's a lot of things that I can have unlocked that I want to get, particularly Skull Mentors to boost my research. So we're really going to try and hit this hard on forging things. We've witnessed a battle off in the distance. This is the Chaos Dwarves, and they are sending their typical army of Infernal Fireglaves against a throne. So this looks like the Dwarfs are going to wreck this pretty easily. I mean, lots of lightly armoured stuff is perfect fodder for a big line of Fireglaves. The Fire Elemental's not particularly frightening to them. Mages we got here. Yeah, there's just a handful of kind of mid-level mages. So this one should be fairly straightforward. I'm going to put it on fast. Yes, absolutely crushed there. The arrows are having no effect because these guys have 23 protection. Don't think this Fire Elemental is going to do much, although it's going towards the back. Yeah, it's knocked into their leader. Yeah, Overlord here. It looks like he can handle it. He is on fire though, so we'll see. Up front, we've got the Fireglaves cracking in again. Another Fire Elemental doing them a bit of harm. And they've built up a few undead there, but I think it's going to be a huge problem. There's definitely going to be some casualties for the Chaos Dwarfs out of this, but not too many. The Overlord's fine. The fire's gone out. Yeah, looks like they've cleared this up. Let's have a look. Slaves, 3 Infernal Fireglaves killed, 125 kills for them. I'm beginning to think the Infernal Fireglaive might be a bit good for 35 gold. It's a lot of resources as well, but yeah, I'm going to have to review whether they're a bit too strong. So we have our own throne battle that we've been planning out. So unlike the Chaos Dwarves, we are definitely going to take some casualties. We're Skaven, so you've got to plan on it. But like the Chaos Dwarves, we're also going to be hurling fire all over the place. So we've got our weapons teams blazing away. This is a slightly tougher throne than they had. Rats at the front are going to take the charges, and look at the damage the weapons teams are doing. Incredible. That's like a third of the knights, the heavy cavalry dead straight away. So in the middle we've got some slightly tougher troops, and then on this flank we've got the censer bearers that are blessed. Yeah, so we're getting quite a lot of friendly fire, but I think the main worry is the censer bearers are going to take a lot of damage up here. Partly because they just poison themselves as they swing their censers around. They've got 4 poison resistance, so sometimes they'll shrug it off, but they're quite capable of hitting themselves. Yeah, they don't have high... Oh god, a bit of friendly fire there. A warp fire thrower just blew a massive hole in them. But yeah, overall we just... we overwhelm, the weapons teams do all the damage, we lose all our giant rats, but I think our slightly better troops are doing fine, and the censer bearers are just crushing on this flank, so... looks pretty good, and in come the weapons teams again to finish off. Yep, that's that. But you can see quite a lot of them are taking poison damage on their way out. God, yeah. That's just from poisoning themselves, I think. They've got bigger than area effect 1 on their weapons. So we lose 14 clan rats, 6 clan rat spears, 2 council guards. This is the that's all fine. The real problem is 14 censer bearers. I mean, they're 25 gold each, so yeah, that's not very pleasant. But we take the throne, and it's a fairly tough throne, so it should be a fairly good one. We can also see over in Spirewoods, Goldtooth Tribe, you say the Bretonnians province defense getting chopped up there. And then we've got a couple of unexpected events. Another Warpstone Seam. Barbarian Scouts caught. They refuse to say anything about their purpose, which means I'm going to get Barbarian attacks. I'm pretty sure that's what that means. I don't think I'm necessarily going to get them in Mushwood, but around this area. So yeah. And then just a bit of patrolling. So this turn, my primary objective is basically just to build palisades on this throne, because this is the silver throne. This is really great. 100 gold a turn, 2 Dominion, and I can recruit Adepts of the Silver Order, which for me is access to air. So Astral I've already got access to, but this is another way of getting Astral 3. But yeah, air, which I have no access to whatsoever. So this is absolutely crucial for me to get this forted and start making those as soon as possible. So I'm investing, a significant amount of my gold this turn into that, which means we're going a bit budget everywhere else. So just recruiting the more efficient guys and kind of resource sink troops. And over here, just going for council guard and another efficient researcher. And of course the same down here, so we're just building our research up. I'm bringing my god back, Ratted Fourtails. She is going to go to Mushwood in case Mushwood is the one that's attacked, because she can deal with basically infinite barbarians. But if not, she can go and hit wherever they do appear. I'm kind of repositioning my troops here, doing a bit of patrolling to get rid of the enemy there. An interesting thing that happened here is that Ogres pulled off the Bretonnian capital. So there's a little bit more fighting to be had there, but they've still got a fairly strong force here, so yeah, we'll see what happens. I think they were a bit wary after the casualties they took the last time. They thought the Bretonnians might break out and do them a bit more damage. Yeah, we'll see what happens there. The other thing that's interesting that's going on, and I'll get to my forging in a moment. The other thing is that interesting is the Dark Elves are hitting this coast of Altdorf. So I know there's a huge orc force over there. This is actually near when one of my troops got, one of my scouts got patrolled out. Where was that? Cassian Forest. Oh, that was up here on the throne, yeah. The Greenskins took that and then patrolled me out. But I think they have a big force there. Altdorf had a big force there, I don't know where it is now. But they've sieged this fort and taken this province here. Because they've got sailing, they can do that. They're really aiming to get all these coastal provinces, and they get extra income. They can get their corsairs can set up corsair coves there that give them extra income. So given that they're attacking down there, I am considering whether I want troops up here. So I'm moving some troops around in case I want to make a stealth move into Altdorf and maybe grab some provinces off them. They're pretty small. I don't feel particularly afraid of reprisal from them. I think I could probably talk to the Greenskins and get them to go in. Maybe even Tilea would be interested in having one or two of these provinces. So yeah, they may be my next target. I'm not in a rush to get into a war because I've now just hit one of my major research targets, which is getting Construction 4. And I want to dump these gems into having amazing research. So you can see I'm forging Earth Boots. That's to get one of my guys to Earth 3, and then I can make a Dwarven Hammer. But I'm not waiting for the Dwarven Hammer because I want to get my research going. I am forging 3 Skull Mentors this turn. I'm also forging Sanguine Dowsing Rod here, and a Sanguine Dowsing Rod up here. That's all my blood slaves used up. And then I'm going to get the blood economy rolling. My next research target is Conjuration, which is, going to take a few turns. Particularly my research speed is slow now because we're doing all this forging. That's going to get me Vermintide, which is my version of Skelly Spam, basically. Just flooding the battlefield with loads of small units, just tons of rats, which is good because it'll cut down on the number of casualties I take, is the hope. Place the troops with just loads of little ratties. Yeah, there's not much else in there that I want, but the next level is where it gets more interesting because at Earth 3 you get Summon Earth Elemental and Fire 3 Summon Fire Elemental, both things I can get to through Phoenix Power and Summon Earth Power. So yeah, both of those are very interesting to me. I can also cast corpse candles, which is useful. Yeah, there's a few nice targets that we can get there. So yeah, trying to get to Conjuration 5. But getting Conjuration level 4 first, and then maybe I'll want to change my priorities, I'm not sure. But that's just for Vermintide. Okay, apart from that, not a lot going on, just repositioning troops and things. So I'll see you next turn.